What's up, everybody? This is my first ever YouTube video. It's going to be a breakdown of Monday's slate of games for NBA DFS. We got 9 games on the slate today. This is just going to be stream of consciousness stuff. I've got my projections loaded and my minutes loaded, and I'm going to go team by team, taking a look at who I like for tonight. I'll be throwing out a bunch of names. This stuff is obviously subject to change based on any news that comes out, but it's always good to get a good look in the morning. So first game out, we're going to look at Boston. First game on my list, Boston and San Antonio. I took a look. The line is Boston minus 3.5, low over under 193. I wouldn't imagine having a terribly large amount of exposure to this game, but who knows? So right now I have everybody filtered for just people getting over 15 minutes. Not going to be rostering anybody that gets any less than that. So first look, color scheme for the buttons isn't super relevant. It's just a way for me to get an eye on sort of whose projections look kind of decent just on the surface. For anybody that doesn't know, I've been posting these projections at Reddit for the past couple years. They're based on Basketball Reference's simple rating system. They're really generic. There's no adjustments for defense versus position. These are all just individual player projections, regressed box score stats over the past couple years, but it gives you a really good jumping off point and a good spot to build on when you don't really have any other projection sources out there. So just looking at this and knowing what kind of game this is going to be with that low score, really the only person I'd be looking at is probably Jaylen Brown. 5,300, he's going to be getting 30 plus minutes. We've got some results over here over the past couple of days. He had an off game in his last game, only put up 9.5 Fanduel points, but otherwise he's looking to get 30 plus minutes. Not the best spot in the world. For him to hit 5x on FanDuel, he needs 26.5. That's actually what I have him projected for right now. So I'll definitely have a closer look at him, but otherwise I don't really see anything else jumping off the page. If there were an injury, if Marcus Smart was still out, we could fire up Terry Rozier. But right now, Boston's probably not the spot I'm looking for. And this game isn't really that appealing. So let's switch over to San Antonio. More often than not, I avoid San Antonio. You can never trust Pop to not screw you over. You'll see right off the bat, Pau Gasol is jumping out. Pau Gasol, Manu. There are a couple guys in this projection system that just naturally project well. Derek Favors. These are guys that are really efficient players. They do really well in their minutes, but for some reason that seems to overrate them in my projections. I don't think that these guys generally have the high upside, so their curve is sort of off. So while it looks like Pau Gasol is probably a good play here, there's very little chance that I would ever use Pau Gasol. I play predominantly cash games, so my focus is always going to be on guys that I think that I could hit this level, but also have the upside to drive me home. Other than that, I can't imagine having anybody in this game. Nothing really looks good. It's going to be slow. LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing well. I guess he could dine on Boston. I've got him at 33 minutes now. He's played 36, 38, 36, 39. He's been putting up really good numbers so far this season. Over a point per minute. But he needs to hit 43.5 to hit 5x. He can get there, but he's going to need the minutes to do it. And in this particular game, I'm not sure it's going to be the spot for him. I don't hate it, but I won't be focusing on it. So let's get off of this game. Head to the Miami Heat. We'll go take a look at that line. Minnesota favored by 3 in Miami, 216 total. This is a little bit more like it. So I used Tyler Johnson here, hoping that his day was going to look a little bit more like it did on the 25th, where he put up a point per minute, but played 10 less minutes, didn't play very well. He's been boom or bust so far. 4,300 is not bad if you're looking for a low salary guy at point guard. Let's look at the rest of the point guard list. I don't see it. There's too much risk there. I'd probably rather have someone like TJ McConnell. But, I mean, there's so much talent at point guard at the top of the list that I can't imagine wanting to use Tyler Johnson. If Bam Adebayo were going to get more minutes, he'd be worth a look at almost min salary for centers. But, I mean, if he's only going to play 21 minutes, it's really hard to expect anything there. The rest of the Heat, I mean, Josh Richardson deserves a look. He's probably rated a little low in my projections. He's getting a lot of regression to the mean. But put up a 39 a couple days ago. The last 2 games, not the best. The Timberwolves haven't been playing very well. That high total looks good. Someone from the Heat is probably going to go off. If I were going to have anybody here, it would probably be Josh Richardson. I think James Johnson and Kelly Olynyk are probably a little too expensive now. You need 28 for 5x for Kelly Olynyk. You need 33.5 for James Johnson. Johnson can get there. He might deserve a closer look, but I don't see it. Not today. I'd say, if anything, I would be looking at Josh Richardson, but I don't know. The Heat are probably not my spot. Check out Minnesota. So right off the bat, I like Karl Anthony Towns tonight. Coming off 66.8 on the 27th, so he's got a couple days rest. He's coming in. There's no Whiteside, so he's going to be getting a steady dose of Bam Adebayo, Kelly Olynyk, James Johnson. I mean, Towns should be able to feast on this. Only needs 49 to hit 5x. I've got him at 43. They're always going to be, projected a little lower. It's just the nature of the beast. But Karl Anthony Towns right now is looking really good. Let's take a look at the rest of the centers. Yeah, if you don't want to pay up for Boogie against the Magic, I mean, that's $2,200 less for Towns in a great spot, great matchup. He should be playing that whole game. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, I have a hard time seeing him not hit value. He's in a great spot there. Jokic against the Knicks looks really good too. So does Embiid. I'll have to look a little bit closer into that, but right now, definitely, I want to take a look deeper into Karl Towns. So I'm going to add him to my short list. Let's make that a little bigger. Anything else here on Minnesota? Let's see, Wiggins against the Heat guards. I mean, he's liable to go off at any time. 6,200 isn't bad. I can definitely see taking a look deeper at Wiggins and Butler. And if Taj Gibson is going to get minutes, I mean, he hung 37 in his last game. If he's going to play those minutes, he's definitely worth a look at 4,400. He only needs 22 to get to 5x. That's not bad. If you need to fit someone in, it's probably not the worst bet. But I would focus here on Towns. I would focus on Wiggins and Butler to a lesser extent. Butler got to 40, which would have been 5x. He's going to get the minutes. So I can see a situation where I would have Butler and Towns. But Towns would be my priority. So now let's transition over to Knicks Nuggets. And I hope everybody was able to get a piece of Tim Hardaway and his coming out party, because he has been god awful for the entire season. 7.5, 16, 10, 16, and then just 55, of course. Did he even have 55 before that? He had more points yesterday than he did in his previous 4 games combined. Ridiculous. I had him a couple times and when he stunk up the joint, so didn't have him last night. I didn't play last night. But I probably would have ended up rostering him, and it probably would have went well. So now I'll probably roster him tonight, and he'll probably suck. He looks great again tonight. 4,300. I don't see any reason not to roster him, aside from the fact that he's been garbage for 4 out of the 5 games. Let's take a look at the line. We've got Nuggets by 4, 210.5. So yeah, this looks like a good spot. I would definitely take a look at Tim Hardaway, as disgusting as that sounds. And then his last 2 games for Porzingis have been over 50 points, 52 in 29 minutes a couple nights ago. He's at 8,900, needs 44.5 to get the 5x. Nuggets pass. He's going to have a lot of Millsap, which isn't really the best, but I still like it. So I can definitely see using Hardaway and Porzingis. They're definitely guys I don't want to forget about. Let's see if I can spell this without screwing it up. Apparently I can. If Cantor were going to get more minutes, he's always worth a look because he's all offense, but he's only going to get 24 minutes. What has he been playing? He played 14 minutes last night. It's not worth a look. If Jarrett Jack's going to get 30 minutes, he's worth a look at 4,200, but otherwise he's Jarrett Jack and he sucks, so it's not worth it. Not much else to look at for the Knicks, so let's take a look at the Nuggets. This is interesting. Millsap 6,600 needs 33 to hit 5x. Put up 42.7 last night. Came close to that 5x number in his previous game. Yeah, I think Millsap's worth a look for sure. What else do we have? Jokic should be in a really good spot. He appears to be shooting again, which is great. So I think I would have no problem using Jokic. You'll see, I'm going to be listing guys, like obviously I have Towns from center. I've got Jokic from center. Sometimes you got to pivot down to people, so you need options at different spots. It's all about making the puzzle pieces fit. But right off the bat, I mean, if you're like Towns and Jokic, both look great for tonight. I've used Wilson Chandler a little bit this year, and I seem to be getting him on the days where he puts up duds, the 3.7s and the 12.4s. But then, last night he hung 33.5, which would have been huge value. I don't mind using Wilson Chandler in that spot. I'm not going to seek him out, but it's not a bad value at 4.7. Jamal Murray finally had a big game. If he can build off of that, 4.7 looks great here. He only needs 23.5 to hit value. And he's going to be going up against, Jarrett Jack or Ron Baker or Frankie Nicotine. He's got nothing to worry about. I think he's worth a second look. Moutier would be if he was getting the minutes, but it's not worth a look at 22 minutes. And Gary Harris needs 27.5 to hit 5x. I don't trust it, even against the Knicks. It's a good spot for him, but I don't love it. I don't love it. Let's head off this game, head to the Rockets. Rockets, Sixers. That's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be bombing threes. Let's take a look at the line. Houston 6.5, 218 total. Yeah, this is going to be a good spot. Drink some coffee here. That's amazing. So Houston has no point guard projected for more than 15 minutes, which is just always fun. I don't know why I went to Philly here. Let's go to Houston. Okay, Harden. Yeah, he's been up and down. $39, $36, $44, $48, even only in the 50s. Who's going to be guarding him? I don't know who they're going to put on him of value. Yeah, I like Harden. 11,000's a lot, but that's a good spot for him. I'm not exactly, making a big leap here saying that I like James Harden tonight, but he's projected really well in my numbers. He's obviously going to get the minutes. I'm anticipating Eric Gordon being in the lineup, which I think is good for Harden. Just another shooter that can space the floor. Another guy that can do things offensively, unlike, say, PJ Tucker, Mba Mute. So, yeah, Harden for sure. Gordon sat out 2 nights ago. He's been playing incredible ball. Needs 32.5 to hit 5x, though. I'm not sure I love that. It's not bad. If I had 6,500 left and I needed to fill in my last shooting guard spot, I wouldn't hate it. But I won't prioritize him at all. He'd be somebody I'd be okay with ending up with. Ariza's back after missing 2 games. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Trevor Ariza. It's nothing fancy. Mba Mute, if he gets the minutes, for some reason I have him projected at 25 minutes, but I don't agree with that at all. 34, 41, 36, 28. I need to bump that up a little bit. So let's head to the Houston depth chart. What do I have their total at right now? 240. Let's bump that up to 14 and 15. Knock Bobby Brown down. Knock Nene down. It's not bad. I mean, he's not very good offensively, so it's all about, if he's going to get steals, if he's going to knock down corner threes, it's just not a spot for him. 3,800, it's not the worst punt in the world, but I'm not super interested. If I could understand what's going on with Clint Capella's minutes, I would love him, but I mean, he played 22 minutes last night, or 2 nights ago, played 17 minutes the game before that, and then in the game where he gets 32 minutes, he just goes ham and drops 56. I mean, if you trust that he's going to get the burn, I like him, but there are guys that I like more at center, so I wouldn't see forcing Capella into anything. Let's head to Philly. Is Ben Simmons ever going to stop just going ham every night? 45, 31, 39, 40. He's going crazy. Now, my projections hate him. Just full stop. He's projected at only 36.7, and it's just because he's only played a couple games. So, a little explanation on those projections. These guys are getting a guy like Ben Simmons who has, I can give you the total, 206 minutes in the NBA at this point. He's predominantly being projected as a league average guy. So a lot like Tango Tiger's Marcel projections in baseball. Anybody that doesn't have a projection is getting a league average projection. So he's using league average rates, or I'm using league average rates across the run of stats. For Simmons, he's getting a small amount of weight of everything that he's done so far this year, and league average isn't good enough for someone that's at 9,300 salary. So I personally would bump him up a little bit, and I wouldn't use the 36.7 that he has here as gospel or anything like that. I think that he's probably in for some tough sledding though tonight. It's not a good spot for him. He's going to get a steady diet of Ariza, PJ Tucker, Mbah Mute. Like he just, it's going to be a learning experience for him. So this would be a spot where I would definitely fade Simmons. Saying that, he's probably going to go out and go crazy because he's been playing incredible, but that's I wouldn't be looking at him. I said before, TJ McConnell looks pretty good for 4,900 if he's still going to be getting 30 minutes. I have him at 28 right now, and I am projecting Redick to be back if that's the case. McConnell can get there. He put up 31.8 here. He put up 41.5 a couple days ago. So if he's going to get upwards of 25 plus minutes, I think he's got a good shot at producing some value here. Otherwise, if you hear that Redick's out, I definitely like TJ McConnell. I'd say the guy I like the most actually in this game is probably Embiid. He's only at 8,000. He's going to get 27, 28, 29 minutes, somewhere in that area. He needs 40 for 5x, but I feel like he's just waiting to go ham. It's an interesting game, though. We would almost need to be betting on a rough shooting night for the Rockets, just for him to fill up the sheet a little bit more. Embiid at 8,000. Would I rather have Jokic at 87 or Embiid at 8? I'd rather have Jokic at 87. It's going to be hard to fit Embiid in there, but I like him. I think he's a good play tonight. So if you need that extra 700, I don't think it's crazy to drop down from Jokic to Embiid, but that's going to be a tough fit. I want to take a deeper look at TJ McConnell as the day goes on, and I don't want to forget about him. And if any Redick news comes out, that's definitely where you want to take a look. Anybody else in this game? I have no interest in Saric. I don't think I have any interest in Covington. Not a bad value, but it's just not for me. So let's head to the Grizzlies. Grizzlies, Hornets. Whew. Memphis by 6.5, 195 total. This is not going to be a fun game to watch. Conley has been not very good in fantasy this year. 36.5 to hit 5x. He's 7,300. Not interested. I'm not really interested in anybody in this game. Grizzlies, Hornet, Gasol. Gasol could be interesting because if he's pulling Howard out, that's an interesting look. Can Howard guard him out on the perimeter? 8,600. I don't think it matters. I think Gasol's in a pretty good spot, but I can't imagine not wanting Jokic for $100 more. The total's just too low for this game. Dylan Brooks at 3,700. If you need a value play at small forward is fine, but I'm not going anywhere near the Grizzlies. Let's check out the Hornets. Kemba went nuts last night, 62. That's big. I had him a couple nights ago when he only had 30, which was not awesome. It's a tough spot for him. Nobody jumping out, really. They've been really balanced in their minutes. I mean, Zeller would look better if he was getting more than 22, but Jeremy Lamb at 6,500. I don't see it. He needs 32.5. I know he got it last night. I can't. I don't. There's nothing I want here. Keep an eye if Kaminsky doesn't go. It might open up some value. I have him projected to play right now, but this could be a game that changes a little bit from a minutes perspective if Kaminsky's ruled out. But let's get off of this because nobody wants anybody in the Grizzlies Hornets game. So let's go Pelicans Magic. This should be an interesting look. My projections love Jrue Holiday every single night. Tonight's no different. What do we got here on a total? Pelicans by 7.5, 225. Yeah, this is going to be a big time game. I would imagine Davis and Cousins are going to have some pretty high cash ownership. Jrue Holiday had 43 last night. He's been steady. He needs 37.5 to hit 5x, and he's been over 30 in his past 4. Getting the minutes. I mean, he's going to be going up against DJ Augustine, so I definitely like Jrue Holiday tonight. Eton Moore at 27 fantasy points, but I mean, he's a guy that just doesn't provide really any value. Let me add my game usage into this table. It's always great when you leave it on count. Okay, yeah, so I have Eton Moore projected at 14% usage. You just can't trust it. It's a good spot. At 4,100, you're not taking too big of a risk, but that's not... I don't want to make my bed with Eton Moore. AD and Boogie, I mean, Boogie's just been out of this world. 12,000 is so expensive, though. It's hard for me to get there, although on a 9-game slate, you're going to be able to find value otherwise. He's a great play for tonight, but I think that I would rather save the scratch and go to Towns. Davis, I mean, he went absolutely berserk 2 nights ago, 64.8. It's just risky. If he's getting Aaron Gordon, though, I mean, he can really teach him a couple lessons. I'll entertain Davis here because I think that's a pretty good spot. If you think Boogie's the play tonight, I don't have any qualms with it. I just don't want to spend 12,000 at center with other options like Towns and Jokic. I'd say my main focus coming out of this game would be Jrue Holiday. Let's go to Orlando. Oh, TJ Augustine's atrocious. I would not use him at all. I would not... Well... Never Google's interesting. He's been playing pretty well. He's put up 30 every night. He needs 37 to get 5x, which means he's been close to that, and he has gone over it. But it's a risky spot. I wonder why my projections hate him so much. I don't like it, but I can see people liking it. If you're a big Fournier fan, go for it. I can't imagine ending up with him. 7,400. That's a lot. What else is out there at small forward? So we've got Never Google. Third most expensive small forward tonight. Yeah, I'd rather be grabbing guys like, I mentioned it before, but instead of sending 7,400 there, I'd rather get someone like, Richardson, Gay, Ingles, Jaylen Brown, Wilson Chandler at 4,700. There's just more upside in those guys. I would be scared to spend 7,400 on him tonight. Aaron Gordon. 42.8. He needs 38 to hit 5x, but I have a feeling that he is going to have some tough sledding against AD. Vooch looks okay. 7,800 though. He's just sort of in no man's land. He's been playing really well, but there's just so much value out there at center. Now Terrence Ross is worth a look. 3,800. Needs 19 to hit 5x. Couple stinkers, but he can go for. Last night went for 29 Fanduel points. That's pretty big value. He might be worth a fill-in. I will keep an eye on him. I don't think that's the spot for Gordon today. Orlando's weird. I don't know what to make of them. They're playing well, and I don't trust it. Let's check out the Jazz. We've got 7.5 point favorites, 191.5. Ugh. No one's going to watch this game. Let's see, Rubio against Dallas. It's not like Dennis Smith plays any defense. Rubio needs to get to 39. That's not a bad spot for Rubio. What kind of tier is he in point guard wise today for salary? I'd rather have Drew at 75. And we're going to be getting into looking at Curry and Dame. I think Rubio's worth a look. I don't hate it, but that total kind of scares me. Have a little bit more coffee. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so bear with me. Let's see. Rodney Hood has just... I want him to be so much better. I'm a Duke fan. But he is just all potential, and it all just seems so wasted. I thought that he was going to have an opportunity to really shine. Hasn't done it yet. He's getting the minutes. He played 35 minutes a couple nights ago. He played 29 last night. Opportunities are there, and he's just not filling the box score. I mentioned before, Favors is a guy that usually grades out pretty well in my projections. If he's going to be getting 30 minutes, it's worth a look. But he's just kind of an efficient guy, so I don't really see the upside there. Now, Gobert. It's going to be 20 minutes of Nerlens Noel, and then, Dirk, I guess. He's going to have the opportunity to do some really nasty things on defense tonight. 8,200 looks good. coming off an off night 2 nights ago. He needs to get to 41 for 5x, which he's only done once this year. If the total were a little higher, I would say Gobert would be in a decent spot. If you believe in Gobert tonight, I get it. I think there's just too many other options at center, but that's a good spot for him. Ingles. I always have trouble finding any real value at small forward. It's just like a big crop of the same guys. He needs to get to 27. I like that. I could see Joe Ingles being a guy I roster at small forward tonight. He's probably the best play of the team. I like him more than Rubio. Fire up Joe Ingles. Head to Dallas. Harrison Barnes maybe needs to get to 30. He's going to get the minutes. Wes Matthews needing to get to 26. My projections don't like him because he doesn't really do anything. Kind of boom or bust. But he's been in the 30s, 1, 2, 3 times this year. Might not be a bad idea. But I'm not touching Dirk. I'm not touching Dwight Powell or Nerlens Noel. Dennis Smith, if he gets 31 minutes, he's going to get hounded by Rubio. That's not a spot for him. I don't want any other parts of Dallas. If you're a Yogi Ferrell guy, go for it, I guess. Needs 23, you can get there, but that's not me. Portland and the Raptors. Watch is telling me it's time to stand. I don't think that's going to happen right now. Portland -2, 215 total. This should be a good game. Oh, that's Reddit. Let's see here now. Dame needs 46.5. He's going to be getting Lowry. I'm fine with that. CJ's going to be getting DeMar. He needs 38.5. I'm fine with that. Let's add them both. They're just good. They're just two guys that are talented and should be rostered pretty regularly. It's a high total. I would expect one of them to bust up value here. I guess if I had to pick one between the two, I think I'd rather have Dame tonight, even at 93. I think I like him tonight. I'll have to take a look deeper into how he's ever played against Lowry. They obviously don't play all that often, but I think that's a good spot for him. Nurkic needs 34.5. Let's hide this. No, let's not hide it. Okay, never mind. Let's see. Turner minutes have dropped. When he was getting the 30 plus, late last week, I liked it a little bit more. 28, not so much. Harkless just says, these guys, there's just no usage there. Turner, Harkless, Aminu, Ed Davis, these guys are just not guys that are going to be demanding the ball. Clear my throat. Yeah, I don't see anything else other than Dame and CJ. Let's take a look at Toronto. So I definitely like Lowry. I mean, he needs 37.5 to get the value. It's not as if Dame is going to just be locking him down. He's had a couple not so awesome games, but he's been good the past two, and his performances in the past two both would have given him 5x. So I definitely like Lowry tonight. It's a good spot for him. DeMar needs 41.5. He scares me. 8,300 is a lot of money for him. He's gonna gun though. It's a good spot. I doubt that I end up with him. What else is out there at shooting guard? I'd feel safer going CJ at 77 than DeMar at 83. I could see doing Lowry and CJ to get parts of that backcourt. And then even Clay at 69, I haven't looked into it yet. That'll be the next game we're looking at. But, you know, some combination of... I could either see going and paying up and doing, you know, Harden and CJ, or I can see doing a combo of, you know, Tim Hardaway and CJ. I can see Tim Hardaway and Harden. If we did Hardaway and Harden, that'd be 15-3. I should be able to do this math. Yeah, I feel like Harden and Tim Hardaway combined should be able to put up more than 76.5 points. That's a decent spot. It'll be interesting when I start doing my lineup builds. Normally, I put in a lineup as a placeholder in the morning, and then I start doing my final prep about an hour out. So today starts at 7:30, so I'll probably start really focusing in on news at like 6:30 tonight. Let's take a look at anybody else here. Right now I have Jonas projected to play and getting 30 minutes. If he does, I think he's in a pretty good spot, but that's a tricky spot to look at. You know, he put up 49 in that first game of the season. So he's worth a look, especially at 5,800 if you don't want to be paying up for one of the bigger centers. But you want to pay attention to news to see if he's going to be in the lineup. 30 minutes is a lot of minutes, but at this point I have nothing to go on. I have to assume that he's going to be playing. So let's head to the Clippers now. Clippers Warriors. Wish I had the energy to stay up to watch this, but 10:30, not happening. 221 total. Golden State favored by 5.5 in LA. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So I would say right off the bat, I have some interest in Blake. Needs 47.5 to get to 5x, which he's been right around in the first couple games of the season. Dropped off the past two, but I feel like this is a good spot for him. I mean, he's probably going to get a lot of Draymond, which is never really what people want, but I can see him wanting to have a big game in this spot. I'm not liking DeAndre for tonight. He needs 39, and I like other centers, so I'm going to pass there. Gallo needs 31. He not really hitting that this year. I don't see it. I don't really like anybody else here. I can see Beverly being sneaky just because he's going to be on the floor a lot. Played 37 minutes 2 nights ago, but I mean, he's going to get up for this and want to just put Steph on lock. So in that regard, he's probably worth a look. He needs 29.5 for 5x. It's worth entertaining because he's going to be out there grinding, but we're banking on steals in that scenario, which is tricky. Steph does tend to turn the ball over, so it could be a decent spot. I'm going to look into that. I'd like to know how Beverly has done in the past when he had the Warriors on it as an opponent. It's worth a deeper look. Other than that, let's head to the Warriors. I'd imagine this is going to look pretty tasty. So, only looking at 5 guys, not much else to pay attention to. First person I say that looks good is probably Durant. 10-3, needs 51.5. I don't see a situation where he sinks a lineup tonight. I think he's going to be right in that area, in that 50 area, and that should be fine. I think he's definitely someone that I'm going to have rostered tonight. I think that 44.5 projection is low for him, but again, my projections are generally more pessimistic than others, which is, good and bad. Draymond could be interesting. Needs to get to 38. I can see it. I wouldn't hate it. I'm probably not going to end up there. And Clay has been good this year. He needs 34.5. He can certainly get there. Let's take a deeper look there too. That's not a bad short list. Not at all. Yeah, I'd say Durant is the play of the day there for me. That's going to look pretty good. I don't know how I'm going to make all of this fit, but it'll be pretty interesting. Let's take one last look at each position. Just try to get an idea of levels. So I'd say I'm going to look at Dame, Drew Holiday, Lowry, maybe Beverly here, McConnell, Jamal Murray. That's probably it. Judging by salaries from other guys, I think it's going to be hard for me to get Dame in there. I think some combo of like Drew and Jamal Murray or Lowry and TJ McConnell, those are going to be decent spots. Beverly's kind of in no man's land, so if that second point guard spot is the last spot you're filling in, if you've got 5,900, I think it looks good. I'd probably want Beverly over Dennis Smith. So if you had 6,300, I'd still go down to Beverly. But that's a decent spread of value at point guard. Point guard looks good tonight. Shooting guard, Harden, DeRozan, McCollum, Clay. That'll look good right off the top. And then otherwise you're dropping down to Hardaway. Man, that one's tricky. I feel like Hardaway has to be in lineups. His ownership is going to be through the roof. People are going to be chasing him hardcore. He's probably going to put up like 7 fantasy points. But it's going to be hard not to roster a guy at 4,300 that's going to play 30 minutes that hung 55.8 Fanduel points last night. Like, it's it's hard to do. He's as close to must roster as someone is to me, and I hate him. So I don't know how to manage something like that. Small forward, to me, it's Durant far and away here, and then I'm either going to run Ingles or Jalen. Oh, man. Small forward is just not a fun spot. It's just a wealth of guys that don't do anything particularly well. And you're like Mo Harkless, MKG, PJ Tucker, Winslow. All of these guys are they're just versions of the same person, all at the exact same salary. So one of them hits, they end up with 4 steals, they knock down 3 or 4 corner threes, and they blow up. But figuring out that sort of muck of who's going to be good in that 4,000 and early 5,000 range is just nonsense. I'd rather just pay up for Durant and then, take the steadiness of Joe Ingles or something like that. Power forward, AD for sure looks great. It's going to be hard fitting all those stars in. Blake looks great. Zinger looks great. Power forward's a good spot tonight, and there is not much value on the low end at power forward. This is just a wasteland down here. Taj Gibson's sneaky. If he gets minutes, Taj Gibson is sneaky. Like, if Taj Gibson's going to play 36 minutes, that's a decent spot. He can, even 33 minutes here, he gets to 25. Like, he's gonna grind out boards. He needs 22 to hit 5x. If you're confident that Taj Gibson plays 30 minutes, I've got him at 28 right now. If you're confident that he gets north of 28, I think Taj Gibson is an interesting fit at power forward that allows you to go get another bigger salary guy. And finally, center. I mean, this is just it's just a list of guys that look great for tonight. Boogie looks great. Towns looks great. Jokic looks great. I like Marc Gasol tonight, but I would rather have Jokic at $100 more. I like Gobert. I like Embiid. Not really interested in DeAndre or Dwight. I mean, Vooch is fine. Who knows what Capella shows up, how many minutes he gets. There's no telling. Even people like, Horford's steady. Jonas, if he gets the minutes, looks good at 58. I'll probably end up with Towns, or at least I'll be focusing on Towns to start. And if I see that I need more money, I'll probably drop to Jokic to free up that extra 1,100. So I know I focused on Fanduel tonight. That's normally where I'm playing. I don't have as much interest in Draftkings. I do have those numbers, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see, Draftkings information on here as well. I assume that you would, so I can bounce back and forth and look at the values. It's just a lot, really. I won't be doing anything for Yahoo. I've had some people ask if I would do any content for Yahoo, but I don't play there, so I would be speaking out of school if I were trying to do anything. I will say they have the same scoring system as Fanduel, so if you want to and you're looking at my projections and you want to use them for Yahoo, they're the same for Fanduel, so you can use those and they'll plug in perfectly for you. With that said, that's everything. Love for you to give this a like, subscribe if you want. Going to try to do a couple of these every week. If you're looking for my spreadsheet, you can either find it in the daily threads at the DFS Sports Reddit, or you can go to my website, which is going to be at the top of the screen, joshengleman.com. Hit me up on Twitter if you'd like. And if you have any questions throughout the day, feel free to ask any one of those mediums. Enjoy!